All right. So first of all, Sharon, how are you? How's life?
Everything's going good. Life is good. No complaints. Um, just taking it one day at a time.
All right, good. And Jessica, how are you?
Good. I've had a productive week. I'm gonna have a productive weekend, so I'm good.
All right, I'm liking that lipstick, girl. All right. So Sharon, what have you been seeing people struggle with over the last week?
Okay, so my thing with a lot of people is just normalizing hurt.
Mm.
You don't have to be afraid to say that hurt me. Normalizing pain. You don't have to be afraid to be in pain, especially in relationships.
Yeah.
And everybody normalize that, because sometimes you will get a person that don't want to admit they hurt because it's not safe for their spouse to hear that. So they don't create an environment where they can express their vulnerabilities. And then sometimes it's like, and they did this and they did this, and now they say they hurt. And, it's just normalized feelings. That's about it.
Yeah. No, that's a really good one, because I remember myself saying to somebody, like, I think people forget that people are people, that like we have feelings, we have emotions, we're going to get hurt, we're going to feel some type of way about something. And it's okay to feel some type of way, even when we know we shouldn't. I think in what situation we were talking about somebody who knew the guy wasn't good for him, but when the guy got with somebody else, then they was all hurt. It was like, but I shouldn't be, because he's not good for me. Like, our relationship was never going to work, but I'm still feeling type of way. I shouldn't be feeling like that. They're your feelings. It's okay. Now, you can't show up and trash the wedding. Like, actions are different, but feel your feelings. Like, journal about them, get them out. Say it's okay to be a little hurt that he chose somebody else instead of me, even though I didn't really want him. With that. Okay. So, Jessica, what have you been like just kind of seeing out in the world this week?
It's a combination of talking with girlfriends and things that my daughter's school have been coming home with. Their counselor has been working with the whole school about. It's about trust, and more so single moms dating and trying to distinguish, is this person a good guy, good girl, or should they be looking out for those predator grooming signs? So a lot of women, they have problems with trust issues, or maybe the father is not in the home or shows affection to the children. So when they have someone that does that, they don't know to distinguish, is he just being a good person and giving us things that we've never seen before? Or is there some red flags I need to look out for?
Yeah. Oh, so that's such a good topic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like we're going to need a whole 8 hours to talk about that. Okay. All right, Sharon, what would you say? What advice would you give single moms? Because I know you've been there, right? I think if I
have, yes.
Yeah. And so you've been there, plus you have all of the education and the experience, and you've worked with couples who've been there, and you've done premarital counseling. So I think you're going to be the best one to kind of speak to that.
Being a single parent in dating is difficult, right? You have to find a balance.
Yeah.
That would be one. I want to believe I had balance. I don't know if that's true.
I think you did. You always seem to be balanced to me. So I think you did.
I had, I can go out with you, but no, you're not going to come to my home. And I wasn't so focused on shopping for a parent for my child.
Okay.
Right. So just take it one step at a time. Just get to know the person first, and then figure out if this person's going to fit into the dynamic with your child. Instead of trying to consider everything at hello.
Okay.
As soon as you meet a person, a lot of single parents, they'll meet a person and go, I wonder if they're going to fit in with my child. I wonder what type of parent they be. I wonder if they're going to, instead of just focusing on the dynamic between the both of you, and then introducing that, because there's no guarantee this is going to be a long term.
Yeah. Okay. What's coming up for me as a woman is I ain't got time. I ain't got time to get to know you a year and then see if you are a good fit for my child over the next year. Like, that's 2 years. I'm trying to have at least one more child, so I got to get in a relationship, and I need to do it fast. So how can I do it all together? And so what would you say to that woman? Because that's immediately what came up for me. It's like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Like, I need to find you, date you, marry you, and move on with my life.
Just the sense of why she feels like she doesn't have time. What are the factors that's determining that you don't have time? Is it because of your age? Like, what's making you not have time? I'm telling you, a lot of single mothers
are getting older by the day, and I want to have some more kids.
So yeah, so what's your factor? Or, sometimes women, we have to be real with ourselves. Are you just trying to find a family unit?
Yeah.
Right? Are you really just trying to make up? Are you trying to live in a life where you won't be judged for being a single parent? So are you really in a rush to right what you believe is a wrong? I'm not saying it's a wrong because you're a single parent, but sometimes we place so much judgment on ourselves, right? And we get to struggling with, I need a family for my child. So is that, what are you running out of time? What's the measurement here? Because now people are having babies later. So is that what it is? Is it you want to have babies, more kids before a certain age? But you just really have to be real with yourself. And even when I was a single parent, while I got used to it, it was still just a burden of judgment, especially no matter how popular becoming a single parent seemed to be. Even when I meet with clients and meet with friends or people in the world, it's still just a hint of judgment, mostly because we didn't want that for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's not what we wanted. We feel like that's what we were forced to choose. And that's not what we wanted. And that's not maybe what we wanted for our kids. And some people like me, nobody in my family on my father's side or mother's side, I think except like 1 or 2 people were born out of wedlock. So we grew up seeing that, right? So even if it ended in divorce or not, I don't know a cousin that don't have the same 2 parents.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we get into all of that community culture. Just a lot can be wearing us down to feel like we have to make up for this. We have to give our child this life that we kind of saw for ourselves. When sometimes the child might be cool. But your anxiety, but your anxiety is saying, oh, you need a father figure. Oh, then that might make the child anxious about some things that they don't even really have a realization that isn't present, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Okay, so let me continue to be kind of like the voice of the client in this. So I feel like what's coming up for me next, so what the client part of me is saying is, but what's wrong with me wanting a family unit? Like I want that. I want that partner. I do want my kid to have somebody to go out and play football with. I just saw my son the other day try to throw a football and he don't know how. Like, so why is it bad for me to want him in a family?
I'm not saying that it's bad. So we're going to do the client to therapist role play. I'd say it's definitely not bad for you to want a family unit. The goal in itself is not a bad goal, but I'm not here to really tell you what's bad or good. But want your family, have your family, but make sure it's not creating an anxiety where you're rushing and making decisions and you can't date in a way that's, good for you. Because if you rushing and saying, hey, I need this, I need that, would you make some missteps? Would you forgive some things that you wouldn't normally forgive if you were not rushing? How do you create boundaries when you're rushing? Like what, like how do you start to let some things go? Because, hey, you saying, I need this family, I need this life. So, it's okay that he's doing this. I can look over that because this is what I'm really trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And then outcome's gonna be good? Or you're gonna end up in, a situation where it's not good.
I think some girlfriends I have, they suffer from some type of anxiety because they've had a past of like childhood trauma. And sometimes they might be in a relationship with the guy. He's sweet, he's good. It's been like now this a year in. And then once they introduce their children, they're just on the fence of why is he looking at him or her like that? And you automatically think, oh, that's a red flag. Let me just cut that off because I'd rather be safe than sorry. So sometimes you got to check in, and sometimes they don't want to bring that up to them because they don't want to offend them.
Yeah.
So they rather just cut it off and just be safe than sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I think the other thing is, it's so interesting we're talking about all of this. Thank y'all. Yeah, this is good topics. I think the other thing that's coming up for me is kind of moving past single parent. And when you do get into a relationship and actually into marriage, how are you guys going to co-parent and discipline? And so I know with a lot of single parents, even though they're looking for a relationship and they get into a relationship, they're not really, even though they want a father figure in the home, they don't want a disciplinarian in the home, or they don't want somebody else disciplining their child. And I know that affects a lot of our couples with that. And so Sharon, what would you say to that couple or to that mom who is like, no, but I don't want him hitting my child. Like, no matter what, I don't care. Don't nobody get to pop my child but me. Like, what's that? And I get that. I get that. But how do we balance that so that the relationship will work? And I think the bigger thing that has me thinking about all of that is kind of stepping back into the therapist role is understanding that you're going to have your child for 18 years. Yes, they're going to be with you as your child forever, but in the home with you probably like 18 to 25 years, whereas this partner hopefully is going to be with you for the next 50 to 60 with that. Mm-hmm. And so also understanding how all of this is going to play out. And so it's wonderful to have a co-parent. Like, oh my God, it's so wonderful to have a co-parent. Just somebody to get milk on the way home or pass off or just bounce some things off of. But we also want you to have a partner in life for the rest of your life. Okay, Sharon, I'm giving it back to you.
Okay, so I would ask that couple or whomever has the child, is it about trust? Do you trust them to discipline them for the same reasons that you would? Do you trust their intentions behind the discipline? So is it a trust thing, or is it, I just don't want nobody to hit my child? So, because, we got to connect the deeper meanings, right? I just always refuse to take people at surface level, right? There's a whole story behind why you just don't want nobody to discipline your child. So for me, as a single parent, my story was my family. What would my family say if they find out that I've let my boyfriend or husband or fiance, who's my child's stepfather, hit my baby?
Oh, okay.
What is grandma gonna think? What is grandfather gonna think? What is baby daddy gonna think? Because sometimes baby daddies are in the picture. What is
that's true? No, that's very, very true. A lot of times, baby daddy's in the picture. Go ahead.
Right. So what's beneath the surface of all that? So I want to say it's trust in families and everything else that might come along for somebody finding out that the new husband has hit the child. And a lot of things that I give to my couples that have blended families like that is come up with rules, come up with the consequences. Come up with the rules, come up with the consequences. So sometimes everything don't include a popping. Some things might just include you ain't gonna have a snack. Then you have a reference. Include the kids in on the family meeting. These the rules. And sometimes ask them, what do you think the consequence is gonna be? So when a step parent is saying, well, now you gotta go to sleep early. Well, hand me over that game. Yeah. Well, you broke rule number 5, and according to rule number 5, this is the consequence for that. Yeah. So then it can't be any
ambiguity.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't create friction in the
relationship,
in the relationship dynamic.
That's so good. Like, that's so good, because I had a coworker one time, this even before I was a therapist. She married her husband, and it was kind of a Brady Bunch. He had 3, she had 3, and they were trying to live in the household together. And they were so distraught over their different parenting styles that she was like, I think we're about to get separate houses. We're going to stay married because we love each other, but we're going to get separate households until all of the kids turn 18 and we can kick them out, and then we can come back together and just be a couple. And I was like, really? It's like that? Is that hard? And it can be that hard. And so if you're a blended family out there, Sharon is a great therapist for you. So feel free to give her a call. But more than that, it is hard to blend families, and it takes a lot of conversations. And you are going to have to trust. Like, you're going to have to make a decision to trust your partner. And so, and I hope you can do that. And I know specifically, like for women, men discipline differently. They do. They handle children differently, but they also teach children a different skill set. And I think that's the part we forget about. And so it feels like, oh my God, he's been so rough with him, or he's been so rough with her. Da, 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 da. Yeah, but they also need to learn that. Like, they need to learn that. They need to learn how to interact with the male voice. They need to learn how to interact with a male being terse with them or whatnot, so that they can make it in the world. Like, you could be on the job site, like, and just kind of have that thicker skin. So go ahead.
Can I add something?
Please.
And sometimes gender makes a difference. So if you're dealing with a male step parent and you have a whole bunch of stepdaughters, they like, I'm good. Yeah. I don't want no parts of that. And I've seen that in therapy, seen that in life. They like, it's not that. And then sometimes you'll have, say it's a mother with the daughters, I really need your help in helping me raise these girls. And they just looking like, but they girls though. I promise you, if you had sons, it would be different. I can help you get their hair done, help you get pay for their prom. I can be a provider for them girls, but discipline, I just don't want to do refuse. They like, I just rather you handle that. Mm-hmm. And so that can create a dynamic. And I just wanted to add one other thing. Girl. I just really think it's trust a lot of time. So if I can't trust you to treat me right in certain situations, to love me the way that I want to be loved, and we have friction in our marriage, then I'm side-eyeing you when you discipline my child. Is this about me?
Preach that one.
Or is this about them, or this is about us? Because I don't even trust you in the moment right now. Look at how you acting towards me. So it's a lot of that. It's really a trust factor, and how good is this relationship functioning between the mom and the dad?
Right. And something I would like families to do when they blend is do what you said, Sharon, is sit down, have a family meeting. There's a new sheriff in town. Like, this is what's going on. This is the new woman of my household. She gonna be doing what she need to do. Is now her kitchen. It isn't like now she gets to move the furniture the way she want to move it. Like, it kind of like, this is who we are as a couple now, and presenting that to the children. Because when there's no conversation like that, then that's when we got, why you doing that? You ain't nobody in here. This ain't your kitchen. You ain't my mama. You ain't my daddy. You can't tell me what to do. But if there's that, hey, this is the thing, and I am giving this person, this is my partner, I'm giving them full authority to speak on my behalf. Right. Like, and that just kind of changes the dynamic with that.
Can I add something to what you said, Natalie, about the conversation? I know I'm young, but I'm going to say, when I was younger, the conversations in dating back then and the conversations I'm having now and trying to see who I want to date, if I have children and say we're dating like a year in, and you know about my children, but you don't really like interact like that because I'm so slowly bringing you into that world. Once we get a good groove, I want to have that conversation with you. What is your views on discipline? How will you have that? Before we get to we're married, well, now we have different parenting styles, and now we're going to have to do this. Why isn't that conversation being had in the dating process? Because dating, I've been told and learned from other therapists, you're not committed to anybody. I'm observing you, you observing me. And I'm not about to give you a list of what all I want, because sometimes you probably try to conform yourself to be that, and then you can't fake the punk anymore, and you in the house, and now it's so real, you just explode to the original person you are to your core. So I would say be your authentic self and have those conversations and give your honest reaction to that situation when being asked, and then you'll know if this is right for you or not.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, Sharon, anything else to add on that?
Yes, I agree with the conversation, but speaking from real life, we had these conversations, and then when we start living it,
Everything went out the window.
And see, before I was a parent, I had a really, really good friend who was a parent, and I used to just sit back and say all these things I would do. And then when I finally had the child, I'm like, I get it better. So have the conversation so you can have an idea, but even still, you have to be flexible within it. So because when you start living it, your conversation can start looking like it's falling apart, and everything you thought you said you would do is falling apart.
That's true.
And don't forget the kids. Don't forget that they might be struggling with loyalty too. So are they just treating the step parent bad because they have some type of loyalty going on for their mom or their side of the family? So we have to be able to tell them, one, you don't really have to love your step parent like you love your mom or your dad. Like, that's okay. You don't even have to call them mom or dad. It doesn't really matter. But long as we respect each other and long as we can have, everybody's following the same rules and expectations are the same for everybody. That's all that matters, because kids struggle with loyalty too. And you never know when they're not with you, what that's looking like when they're with the other parent. So it's mom saying, you better not go over there and let her say this and do this and cook a meal. And you better not, do you like her food? So you don't know. And then it leads the kid to be like, shut up. You're not my mama. Don't buy nothing for me. Don't text me. Don't give me a hug. Don't do nothing. Because I love my mama more. So, you just have to really assess everything. It's a complicated situation. I live it in my real life. And it's therapy. People come to therapy. And that blended family thing can be really, really complicated. But it's okay that it's complicated.
I think it's one of those things that everything worth having is worth working for.
Right.
And I've seen, because my best friend is in a blended family. I've seen it work and be fabulous, where everybody is supporting the kids. We have 4 parents now, so we can like tag team and help. And okay, you got him on the soccer field, but I got him in math. Okay, you got her, you taking her to dance classes, and I'm in here helping her learn how to sew. And so you can create a fabulous community that will make parenting easier. When we can they at your house for the weekend, good, I can rest. It can be such a fabulous, wonderful thing.
Yes.
So, this was a great conversation. All right. If y'all out there, world internet community, know anybody who's in a blended family or needs couples counseling around blended families, call Sharon. Call us at Atlanta Sex Therapy Institute. The email address should be around here somewhere. So probably in the show notes with that. All right, ladies, any closing thoughts, last thoughts before I let y'all go?
No.
All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed our content today. We are here at Atlanta Sex Therapy to serve. If you did like our content, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Also, click the little bell so you can get notifications when we put new videos out. People don't know what sex therapists do, and we're trying to get the information out there and spread the word. So I'm going to ask you to send this to 3 people, because you never know who may be in need of more good information about sex. Thank you, and just have a wonderful day in life.